The Trials of Apollo is a 5-book series written by Rick Riordan and is a spin-off of the Percy Jackson and the Olympians and the Heroes of Olympus series. The story follows the god Apollo, who has been turned into a mortal teenager by his father Zeus as a punishment for angering him. Book 1, The Hidden Oracle. The story begins with Apollo, now known as Lester Papadopoulos, waking up in a dumpster in New York City. He quickly discovers that he is no longer a god and is now mortal. He is then attacked by 2 ghouls and is saved by a demigod named Meg McCaffrey. She takes him to Camp Half-Blood, where he meets Percy Jackson and learns that the oracles are no longer working. Apollo is then tasked with finding the culprit responsible for this and defeating them. Apollo and Meg embark on a quest to find the Grove of Dodona, which is the source of the oracle's power. Along the way, they face numerous challenges, including battling monsters and encountering the Triumvirate Holdings, a group of mortals who are trying to control the gods. Apollo also has to deal with the fact that he is no longer a god and is struggling to come to terms with his new mortality. Book 2, The Dark Prophecy. In the second book, Apollo and Meg travel to Indianapolis to find the second emperor of the Triumvirate Holdings. They meet several new demigods along the way, including Leo Valdez, who has been missing for several months. They also encounter a new villain named Commodus, who is an emperor from ancient Rome who has been brought back to life by the Triumvirate Holdings. Apollo and Meg are captured by Commodus, but they manage to escape with the help of some of the demigods they meet on their journey. Book 3, The Burning Maze. In the third book, Apollo and Meg travel to the labyrinth to find the third emperor of the Triumvirate Holdings. Along the way, they encounter several old friends and enemies, including Grover Underwood and the Titan Hyperion. They also discover that the third emperor is none other than Apollo's old friend, Commodus's sister, and fellow Roman emperor, Caligula. Apollo and his friends are able to defeat Caligula, but not without suffering a great loss. Book 4, The Tyrant's Tomb. In the fourth book, Apollo and Meg travel to California to find the tomb of the fourth emperor of the Triumvirate Holdings. They are joined by Frank Jang, a demigod who has the power to shapeshift into animals. They discover that the fourth emperor is a former friend of Apollo's, a mortal named Tarquin. Tarquin has become obsessed with power and has allied himself with the evil sorceress Medea. Apollo and his friends are able to defeat Tarquin and Medea, but they are once again forced to suffer a great loss. Book 5, The Tower of Nero. In the final book of the series, Apollo and his friends travel to New York City to face off against the final emperor of the Triumvirate Holdings, Nero. They discover that Nero has taken control of the Tower of Nero, which is the center of the Roman Empire in America. Apollo and his friends are able to defeat Nero and save the world, but not without suffering more losses along the way. Throughout the series, Apollo learns valuable lessons about humility, empathy, and the true meaning of heroism. He also learns that being a god is not about having power and control, but about using that power to help and protect others.